Are we really doing this? Luna, are we doing this? We're doing it. What's up, King Cats? Welcome back to my channel. It's been a while. Hi, how are ya? I hope you're doing great. I am getting back into YouTube, I suppose, is what we're here for, obviously, because there's a video and it's on YouTube. So, welcome. I figure I miss you guys a lot. And I've just been feeling the natural draw to start filming again. Actually, what really happened, I've been feeling this for a while, but then there was one night, a couple weeks ago, I could not sleep for the life of me. I was up on a Friday night until 4 a.m. on Saturday morning, which is very unlike me. And while I was awake, I just turned on my YouTube channel and was watching my old videos, and I was like, and I don't know why I did that, but I was just watching them and I was like, wow, I miss this, and I miss them, and I miss talking to them, and I miss this platform and the connectedness of it. So we're here. I suppose I will catch you up on my life throughout the video, but for now, we're getting into the video. Can't have too long of an intro or people stop watching. But yeah, we are going to get into our day. It's time to, you know what, the DOG. I'm not going to take you long for that, but welcome to the video. I'm so excited to be back. While I am not taking you on my walk with me, I will show you what I do while I walk. I listen to podcasts. That is my little trick to get me to go on my walks when it's cold outside with Luna, is I pretty much only listen to podcasts while I'm doing my walks. So today we are listening to this episode of The Skinny Confidential. It is one of my favorite podcasts, and that is what we're going to do.
Are you excited for your you-know-what? Yeah, this is the real people why people watch. Real reason why people watch. It's just you. It's just you. It's your channel, not mine.
So we finished our walk. I changed sweatshirts because I decided I wanted to wear this sweatshirt to the gym. It's a little more comfy versus tailored. But first, before I go to the gym, obviously I gotta make breakfast. So I'm going to make the smoothie that I make every single day before I go to the gym. It's just nice and light on my digestion. I'm one of those people that, you guys know if you've followed me for a long time, I used to train fasted. Terrible idea, especially while I was in prep, so I do not do that anymore. It's just not the greatest for your hormonal health, specifically as a female, especially if you are in a deficit or under a lot of stress, or if you have any hormonal issues going on. So I have a small breakfast before I train, because even though I don't want to train fasted, I also don't do well with a super large or dense meal before I train. So a smoothie is a nice light way to get some nutrients in, easy on your digestion, great way to break a fast, if you will, because it's easier on your digestion. So we're gonna make a smoothie, yeah! You guys so happy that my annoying noises are back? We love that for us. Hello everyone. So first video back, first of all, if you see the smoke coming across the screen, it's my incense. I just saw that. So yeah, my house is not on fire, don't worry. But first video back, a little awkward, feeling a little awkward. Not in the sense of filming, but I'm just I'm not in the rhythm. And I went and trained this morning, and I thought about, oh, do I want to try and film my workout? And I was like, Emily, no. Just take this slowly as far as the rhythm of filming and getting back into doing stuff and all of that. And also I feel this video, two things. For one, just a catch up on kind of what's been going on, more chit chatty, but then also I'm getting my hair done tomorrow, and you all always ask what I ask for with my hair, or you ask questions about my hair, and I'm gonna start taking it a little bit lighter again, kind of like I did last year tomorrow. So I will take you along for that. But I figure start kind of unpacking where I've been. So the last video I posted was after I was in Denver, which was in June of 2021, and my life has done a complete 180 since then. So we're gonna have to take this in phases. There's gonna be like a phase 1, a phase 2, maybe a phase 3. But phase 1 is like mid to late June through the end of August. So a couple of big things happened, and I have no idea if any of you care about this, but you guys always say whenever I ask, like, why are you here? You're like, you just enjoy watching my personal evolution, so that's why I'm sharing this with you. Yeah, so late June is when I started. We'll get the heavy stuff out of the way first. I really started to intentionally unpack. When I say intentionally, I did not know how far this would go, because when you start digging, you don't know what you'll find, especially with stuff like this. But I started doing some intentional healing work around some big T traumas from when I was a teenager. And that work has been very intense, and it is ongoingly intense. It's less intense than it has been, but it's been a lot. A lot. And so, I know it's like really trendy to talk about trauma these days, but please know, like, when I say that, I don't say it lightly. I'm not like just slapping a label on it. Like, some actual big T traumas that occurred in my life. And starting to unpack those. So that's been quite a bit to deal with. But on a lighter note, I also started like really exploring my social side and, just being more entrenched in like a social community. I definitely think I swung my like social pendulum a little far. I was very socially active, not what you think I just said, socially. I was very socially active, July through November into December. And it was really cool. It was really awesome to get to experience that part of myself and like making new friends and all of this stuff. But I'm definitely kind of calibrating in terms of what feels good for me for an amount of social interaction versus an amount of me time, especially somebody that is more introverted and needs that alone time. I think, like I said, I swung that pendulum a little far in one direction. And then at the end of August, one of my last videos, you guys saw me starting to get into ballroom dance. So at the end of August, I did a showcase for the studio that I was training at. And long story short, I didn't warm up well enough for my routine. And my final kind of trick in the routine at the end of the routine was a cartwheel into the splits. So when I did it, and adrenaline takes over and stuff when you're performing too. But when I landed in the splits, I didn't just land and stick it. I like landed, bounced, and then stuck it. And so the leg that was out in front, so my right leg, and the one that like bounced the hardest, that is the hamstring that I tore. And I didn't feel it like right away. I kind of felt like when I got up, but then I went and sat down, and then when I stood up again, I was like, oh no. And the next morning I woke up and I was like, yep, walking is going to be an issue today. And like every step hurt. And so I injured my hamstring pretty badly. And throughout that, I tried to train around the hamstring injury. And so like I continued to try and train. And then that just was not getting me anywhere. And it was, not getting any better. And it was starting to get a little bit worse. So I finally did the smart thing. And I was like, okay, well, we're going to stop training. And at least at like the capacity that I had been, I was still able to do like some upper body stuff. It was definitely not just the same full training capacity that I was used to. And I started seeing a new physical therapist here. His name is Dr. Corey Southers. He's out of Grandview Rehab. So if you're in Columbus, highly recommend him. But I started seeing him in November, and I'm now back, it's February, to training pain-free. So that's really exciting. But August through beginning of January, I was not training at my full capacity. So for one, that was mentally really hard, especially while I was also going through a mentally really hard time, which I can talk more about later as a different one of our phases. But not being able to train at my full capacity was really like ungrounding for me, because that's something that I love and that's something that I find to be very grounding. And also, not being able to train at my full capacity, just body composition shifted in a direction that I do not love. So that's kind of my goal for the beginning of the year, is just getting back to a happy body composition for me. I'm not super far off from it. But yeah, just getting back to a place where I feel a little more athletic, feel a little bit more sprightly, and can do more things again. Obviously, part of that is due to the injury as well. Like, I can't just go back into like max effort plyometric drills with a freshly recovered hamstring, we're starting to incorporate some of that stuff. But January was really my first full month back at a normal training volume for me since August. So that has been exciting. But yeah, that is part one of what's been going on. I'm actually about to sit down and record a podcast with one of my new friends that I have made over the last year. Her name is Maria Louisa. We are talking all things relationships. She is one of the coolest people in the whole world. I'm so excited for you guys to listen to this episode, and she has a wonderful British accent, so it's going to be magical. But we're talking all things relationships, kind of the art of attracting the type of partner that you want to have, and it is not what you think it is. It has a lot to do with like the work you do on yourself and like the trust you have in yourself and the love you have for yourself. So I'm really excited to chat with her and to share that with you guys. So we're about to podcast and we'll be back. I would like for us all to pause to just admire the beauty of this salad that I made. Like, how cute is she? We have some watermelon radish, some golden beets, some shrimp. There's some cucumber under there with a little lettuce, and then some hemp seeds for some fat and protein. Like, wear neutrals, eat colors. So lovely. Thank you so much, nature. You're doing great. Hello. It is the next day. I'm about to go to my hair appointment, which I promised you guys I would take you along for the ride since you ask hair questions a lot, but I wanted to show you this because this is something that I've stumbled across in the last few months since we have been apart. This is hands down, combined with the Noir Sirius Icelandic dark chocolate. I don't know if I said that brand name right. These are the two best chocolates I've ever had in my life. This Honey Mama's, oh my God. It's vegan, gluten-free chocolate, so amazing. It's so rich, like, It's so good. It's so rich. And it's perfect because the richness of it, like, you can only tolerate a little bit of it, which, like, I love. You know, I'm all about wear neutrals, eat colors, but I'm also all about a little chocolate every now and again. And I guess, like, brown's a neutral. That works, right? Right. Anyway, we're about to go to this hair appointment. Might do a little chit chat in the car. Boy, oh boy, have I missed just having car chats with you all. Oh. Feels good to be back. Feels good. But I guess we'll get into part two of the story now. Part two of the last 8 months of my life. So now we have September through, we'll do November. September through November was honestly a really great time. So September through November, I did so much traveling. In retrospect, it was probably a little bit too much. But I went to Sedona for September through November. I had that right. So September, I went to Sedona for the first time with a big group of girlfriends. We got a just big Airbnb, did a long weekend, went into the mountains, just all bonded, hung out, all of the things. Sedona was so beautiful, and everything that anyone had ever said about the energy of Sedona, you know, I obviously could only hear about it because I'd never been there, but when you're there, those comments make sense. Like, there's something very special about the energy of Sedona, and it's stunning. The mountains are beautiful. The drive in, because we rented a car, the drive in from Phoenix, Sky Harbor to Sedona was about 2 hours. Absolutely gorgeous. Just like in awe the whole time. It was one of those drives where you're like, dude, I love this drive. But such a beautiful place, such beautiful energy. And then I went straight from Sedona back to New York City for the first time in like 6 years. I hadn't been to New York since I was there with Donuts and Deadlifts back in like 2015. And actually it was crazy because I was just, you know, minding my business, walking around Manhattan one morning, and when I was there this time, and I was just like, this looks oddly familiar. And in my brain I was like, am I? Oh my God. And I was like, I think I'm by Chrissy's old apartment. And I was like, I stopped and I was like, if you round this corner and such thing is here that you remember being here, and such thing is here that you remember being here, you definitely just walked past it. And I like approached the crosswalk and I looked and I was like, oh my God, I'm here. So that was a really weird deja vu moment. But New York is definitely one of those places where you remember, if you don't live there obviously, where you remember who you were the last time you were there. And so that was just a really cool thing for me to get to compare and contrast my evolution from the last, at the time, 6 years, which is absolutely nuts. But New York was beautiful. Then I went from New York. That was end of September. Beginning of October, I went with my friend Jess to Salt Lake City, Utah for the first time and saw Russ in concert. Absolutely amazing. One of the top experiences of my 2021. And one of the best parts of the whole thing was I was up like at the top level watching him perform, and then I could see his mom and his girlfriend, but his mom across the way in like the VIP section, just like leaning over the railing, like watching her son perform. And like it was just such a cool moment to see, and like a cool thing to see, because he talks about like how much he loves his mom in his music and in just everything he does. So I thought that was really awesome. And his mom's adorable, so love that. Salt Lake was gorgeous. We did a little day trip up to Park City. We went up into the mountains. We explored the little ski town, so that was awesome. Then I went to Austin for a business event, which was great. Austin was really nice. I don't love the weather, but Austin's cool. And then November went back to Austin again for Friendsgiving. So I did a lot of travel between September and November, and it definitely exhausted me, but it was also really expansive and really fun. And yeah, it was just cool to explore. And this was also at the time when I was injured, so like I still would train while I was traveling and stuff, but it was a convenient time because like my training output wasn't what it normally is. So I was like, okay, well, you know, now's a good time to like spend my time doing other things, and did a lot of walking. Like New York, did a lot of walking, hiking in the mountains, did a lot of walking. We're just like walking around cities. One of my favorite things to do when I'm in a new city, especially, you know, obviously if it's a walkable city. But New York is like a walking city. And then even Salt Lake, you know, walking around there. I love walking around and exploring a city when I'm there. So yeah, I would say the energy of September through November was very expansive and very fun and like, yeah, expansive and fun. 2 words are good enough. But I saw not a lot of, but a handful of places for the first time. So that was really cool. So that is going to wrap up part 2 of where I've been. And we'll get to part 3 later after my hair transformation takes place. So, see you there. There's Nona. I'm vlogging today, so I'm using my phone. Look at that.
Princess brush.
Do you want me to stay up like this? Okay. Hold on, let me just get my butt back. Yeah, this is really nice looking. I don't trust this many.
It takes a village.
All right, you guys. Here we have it. I am so in love. It's fairly subtle. I don't know how much it'll pick up on camera, but you can see it a lot in real life. Like, there's an ashierness to it. It's lighter. We have more highlights in it. I'm so obsessed. I was just there for like at least 5 hours. It was definitely more than 5 hours. I think it was more like 6, between 6 and 7 actually, but worth it. So I think that's gonna be the last clip for today. So I will just keep filming tomorrow because it is now 5 o'clock and I have work to do, work to finish. I need to finalize the podcast and get that up for tomorrow. Very excited. This podcast was with I think I told you about this already, my friend Maria Louisa. We talked all about relationships, attracting the love you deserve into your life, what goes into that, the self-work that goes into that. We're talking about masculine and feminine energy polarities and what that even means. It's a trendy topic right now. So if you're interested in that, head over to wherever you listen to podcasts and search Embody Radio. I will also try to remember to link it in the description of this video, but that is it for me for today. I will see you in the next clip. Hello guys. So we're gonna have our last portion of the video here in this hotel room while I am stuck in Detroit trying to get to California. I was trying to get to Austin originally. That'll be a different story for maybe a different video because I do actually have a nice story time from my last 12 hours. But anyway, to get you caught up on like that last quadrant of kind of the last 8 months of my life, or I guess it's not a quadrant, I think it was 3, maybe, but November, like mid-November through January. The long story short is I started struggling with my mental health again, like a lot. It was one of the biggest combos of depression and anxiety I've had since I had my breast implant illness. So like it was very severe. It was very challenging, very not good. And so like I don't even know what detail to go into with it, just because I don't necessarily want to talk about the details, but it was just a very hard few months of just questioning everything about my life. Everything. Not so much like career-wise or anything like that, but just literally my life. And I think it's a culmination of a lot of the kind of like digging up of trauma that I did this last year, of just some things that happened this year. We're switching to my iPhone because my camera died like 2 minutes into that clip. But and this is cinematic mode, so hopefully you enjoy it. But yeah, I just fell into a really terrible mental health slump. And when those things happen for me, obviously, like, I have to just focus on the essentials. So keeping my business running, serving my clients, running my team. So things like social media, the podcast, you know, was something that I genuinely enjoyed doing. So I kept up with that, but like things like social media, doing like activewear hauls, all that stuff, that takes a massive backseat. Because I need to just take care of me. And I know that being super present on social, for one, it doesn't feel natural when I'm in that place. Like, I just don't want to be like, hey guys, like, how's it going? Like, all that stuff. And that's not to say that I don't like show up authentically. Like, I do. And that's not to say that I don't give myself permission to show up when I'm not doing great. Like, I don't think I have to be like, okay guys, let's go all the time. But I am saying that I just respect my own energy enough to know that if I'm trying to be on social a ton when I'm in a really negative place personally, it just tends to make it worse. I don't mean this to sound like, as somebody with a following and a platform and all this stuff, but truly, like, as somebody that interacts with an abnormal amount of humans virtually on any given day, like, I have no control over what comes into my inbox. So it could be something really kind and wonderful and amazing. It could be somebody calling me the worst names you could ever imagine in the world. And I can handle that. I truly can, largely because nobody could ever say worse things to me than I've said to myself. But I'm also just like, I'm not inviting that energy into my space. I just don't need to entertain any more draining energy. And also, again, like, all of my energy and effort is being devoted to like the things that I have to do. When you go through periods of really rough mental health, like, it's energetically taxing, and so your energy reserves are less. So yeah, I started to come out of that in early January, and I feel like a new person, and it's really great. It's not perfect yet, but it's really great. I'm actually really excited to be traveling right now. I was really nervous because I honestly, back in, I was really nervous to travel again, because if you guys have followed me for a long time, you know that I used to deal with travel anxiety, like being on planes, things like that, especially by myself. And I got over that for years. And then in December, I went to one of my really good friends' bachelorette parties in Cabo. It was the first time I've ever been to Cabo. And that was like, first of all, it was when I was like mid-episode, and like, I should have just canceled, but I really wanted to show up and like be there for her and like celebrate her and all these things. But I just knew going into it that my energy was off. And it sucks to say this, but I did not have a good time, just because like up here was trashed. Like, I was so, first of all, just anxious being somewhere that was not familiar to me. So being in a place that I'd never been before, being in a foreign country, that just like made things harder and worse. And then flying home, I flew over with my friends Erin and Deidre. So I wasn't alone for the flights over, which helped. But the flights back, I was by myself. And I was like complete panic mode on the plane. It was so stressful. And so like my last travel memory, I was like, man, am I gonna have to deal with this all over again? And so far, with this trip, I've only had one 30-minute flight to Detroit, and then I got stuck here. But so far, so good. And honestly, getting stuck places, or like travel inconsistencies used to make me, like, 6-7 years ago, very anxious. Like, I would go into full panic, particularly if I was by myself. But last night when shit kind of hit the fan because there was a blizzard here, I was just like, sweet, we're gonna make the most of it. Like, let's go. I'm gonna take myself out to dinner. I'm gonna get myself like wine and steak, and it's gonna be great. So I think that's even just a sign of improvement. But yeah, I am excited to get to Joshua Tree. I'm excited to be with my friends. And I am definitely like nervous because I've never been to Joshua Tree. So I'm like, is this going to be another situation where it's like an unfamiliar place and I'm really anxious? But the energy that I have going into it is so much better than when I went into Cabo, and I feel a lot better just here. So I'm less nervous in that regard. Yeah. So that's kind of it. I'm trying to like think of any other loose ends to wrap up. I've been back in training now for like full force for a little over a month, which feels really great. I miss that a lot. And honestly, I think having that back has been contributing to my mental health a lot. Like, I thought of this in this verbiage one day. I was like, wow, my body is saving me from my mind right now. Or not from my mind, but like my body is saving my mind. Because just like the good feelings and like the centeredness and the groundedness and the rootedness that I have when I can just move, it's unlike anything else. So that helps my mental health a lot, and it gets me out of my head. Moving my body is like one of the top things that gets me out of my head. And I spend so much time in here, so it's been really nice to have that back. But yeah, I think that is about it, because this has just been like a talk video. You guys said on Instagram that you wanted me to just talk, but I don't want to talk too long because I know people get bored. But anyway, also forgot about this. While I was away, I started getting tattoos just randomly. So you might not be able to see this one. Hold on. This one was my first one. I got it in New York. And then, oh, a little Queen of Hearts. A little Queen of Hearts action. Love that for me. This was my third one. This was my second one. Jess, the friend that we're going to Joshua Tree to celebrate her birthday, we went to see Russ in concert in October, like I told you guys about. This is the Utah Freestyle cover. This, though, now, it's like out of place to me. Like, I don't like having this just by itself on this arm. So like, I'm like, okay, well now I just need to fill my whole arm. And then I got this one a week. Come on. And then I got this one. Please focus where you're supposed to focus. I had to put my self tanner on around it, which is awkward. But I got this one a week ago, literally exactly a week ago. And I'm Scottish, like we have Scottish lineage Duncan clan. And so this is the Duncan clan motto. It means learn to suffer, or some translations have it as learn to endure. So whichever one you would like to take with you. But yeah, so that started happening. I really do think I want, like, I am trying to decide between having like a patchwork forearm or like a sleeve forearm. Or do I have one arm that's a sleeve and then the other arm that's patchwork? I don't know yet. I don't know if I want to have one arm that's full and then this arm just be this. Like, I also really love hand tattoos. So I had a folder of potential tattoo ideas since 2015. And I never started because I was like, Emily, once you start, you're not going to stop. And it's true. Like, now I just think about getting tattoos all the time. So that is that. But yeah, we're back. I love you guys. I'm going to wrap up the video now, even though I said I was going to a couple minutes ago. But I love you. I hope that wherever you are, it is beautiful. And if it's not, whether it's not beautiful outside or inside, just know that I love you. So that is it for me today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel, maybe share it on Instagram so people know that I'm back. Instagram's been a wild time the last few months. I feel like I've lost like half my people. So I hope that by coming back here, I can find you again. But I love you, and I'll see you in the next one.